Hey guys, what's up? I'm Connor, aka the Music Fanatic here, coming to you guys with another review. The review I'm going to be doing this time is going to be the second studio album by my 8th favorite band of all time, and that is the album Toxicity by System of a Down. So, this album was released on September 4th, 2001, and pretty much this is their breakthrough album. The album they released beforehand, before this, obviously, was their self-titled album, which is pretty much just System of a Down. And this is another great album. It has some of their best songs like Sweet Pea, Spiders, Sugar, War, Mind, and all that stuff. But it didn't really have that much breakthrough and everything, and it was kind of just an underground alternative metal album. But then 2001 comes around, and they released the album Toxicity, which is the album we're talking about today. And let me explain to you something about the date synonymous with this album's release. Tuesday, September 4th, 2001 was the day that Toxicity was released. And a week after, 9/11 happened. September 11th, 2001. And the reason why I bring this up is because apparently there's actually a thing that went on at the time, and still people are saying it to this day, that because all the political views and all that stuff that happened in this album, all the stuff they talk about in some of the lyrics, like in the song Jet Pilot, and also in the song Chop Suey when they say I cry when angels deserve to die, and also in the song Aerials, and they say Aerials in the sky and everything, and the fact that the members of the band System of a Down are Armenian. Some people have taken that into consideration and said, oh, System of a Down are terrorists, and they predicted 9/11 and knew it was going to happen. Now, personally, that is the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life, and it's just flat out racist. Just because of... Okay, first off, here's the little thing about Armenians, okay? Armenian, in Armenia, you want to know what the #1 religion in Armenia is? Christianity. It's not Muslim. It's not Muslim. Most Armenians are not Muslim, and the members of System of a Down are not Muslim. Most of them are Christians, or some of them are agnostics, and I'm pretty sure one of them is an atheist. So you'll need to just calm down about that. If that was the case, where just because an album and the way that it's titled and the way that the views are expressed on there and it's talking about all that, then why didn't Slayer get in that much trouble when they released the album God Hates Us All on September 11th of that year also? Just wanted to get that out of the way. That stupid conspiracy theory that I learned about before actually looking up research on this album. As you guys know from my top 10 favorite bands of all time list, System of a Down is my 8th favorite band of all time, and when it comes to metal music and when it comes to alternative metal music and everything around that, they are my all-time favorite, and I think they're the best alternative metal band of all time. Which is odd to me because, honestly, some people say that System of a Down is new metal, and I kind of just had to respectfully disagree. I think that alternative metal and new metal are two completely different genres of music. Case in point, Korn is new metal. Limp Bizkit, I'm not even going to say that, man. Linkin Park is new metal, early career. Chevelle is alternative metal. System of a Down is alternative metal. There's a key difference. And also on the front of this album, I actually bought this physical copy literally the other day. It says on here it includes tracks, the hits Toxicity and Chop Suey. And then Spin Magazine names Toxicity 2001 Album of the Year, the most ambitious record yet to emerge from the new metal scene. This is the sound of now. I don't know, I'm just that type of person where I'm a genre type person when I see people mix up genres, and I'm just like, no. Because I consider it more an alternative metal album than a new metal album, but I can see the new metal elements, so maybe. Even in the description of this video, I put under genre as one of them new metal, so just take in your own consideration, I guess. And seeming how Toxicity by System of a Down is my favorite album by System of a Down, and they are my 8th favorite band of all time, you can probably already guess the rating I'm going to give at the end, but you can probably already guess that I absolutely fucking love this album. Track by track, this album is incredible. Usually on some tracks, even that albums that I would give like a 10 out of 10 and everything, there usually would be like one track that I don't like that much, or There's my least favorite track. This is another one of those albums where I don't have a least favorite track. The only track on this album that I say I don't like as much is probably the song Bounce, just because of how flat out fucking weird it is. And the other thing is that the song Science, when I get onto the meaning of the album, meaning of the song on this album, the meaning of the song, just because you disagree with an opinion doesn't mean that it has to take away from the song. And on the song Science, I just kind of disagree in a way of the meaning behind the song. So, as I literally just said, I explained song meanings. So let's take this album track by track and figure out why it's such a great album. Track 1 off this album is called Prison Song, and I love the way that this song starts. It's just such a great opener for this album when it comes to opening tracks for albums and stuff, because like it just gets right into it. And by right into it, I mean like literally they just do that, and like the bass, the guitar, and drums are all playing just like that. Dun, 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 dun. Like it just gets into it, and it's really technical in the beginning. Like they probably had to like cue each other like a whole bunch of times and take a bunch of different takes for this. But it's also one of the fastest songs off the entire album, and that's also clear when the drummer for the band, John, what the fuck's his name? John Dolman. I might have to look that up again later because that's a hard last name to remember. He's actually rolling on the hi-hat when he's playing. He does that in another song on this album, and I will get to that song later. But when he's playing like that and everything, and pretty much the song is, in a sense, about two things. It's about how drugs secretly control the world, and like they rig elections, and they're the cause for most wars and all that stuff. And it's also about how too many Americans are incarcerated into the prison system of the U.S. That's lyrics from the song. It actually says in the song, nearly 2 million Americans are incarcerated in the prison system of the U.S. The number of inmates in the prison system has doubled since 1985, and also they say drug money is used to rig elections and control wars around the world and everything. So the two basic themes of this song are there's too many people in prison and drugs control everything. And I love this song. It is one of my favorite songs by System of a Down and one of my favorite songs off this album. So yeah, the next song on this album is called Needles. The song Needles is pretty much about like drug addiction and stuff, and it uses the metaphor in the song. It uses like a tapeworm as a metaphor in the song, because in the lyrics of the song it says, my tapeworm tells me what to do. My tapeworm tells me where to go, and then pretty much the chorus of the song is pull the tapeworm out of your ass. Yeah, I didn't know those are the lyrics until later. But pretty much they're saying like the drugs that people are addicted to and all that stuff. They're pretty much using the euphemism or the metaphor of a tapeworm, because if you have a tapeworm inside of your body, like every time that you eat food, it gets the nourishment and you pretty much get nothing, and it slowly kills you. And the only way to get rid of a tapeworm is by pulling it out of your ass. I know. Never thought I'd be talking about that on this channel. But pretty much they're using it as whenever you do drugs and all that stuff, pretty much the drugs are telling you what to do and are telling you where to go and everything. Like if you smoke cigarettes, like all those freaking tobacco commercials, or if you do heroin or acid or LSD or like crystal meth, or if you're addicted to drugs and everything, they're pretty much telling you where to go and what to do with your life, and you're not in control. And when they use the metaphor of pull the tapeworm out of your ass, they're pretty much saying, almost pretty much saying like, get off the drugs and don't do the drugs and be in control of your life and don't let the drugs control you. And the song is great for that. I will say that. It's also one of the shortest songs off the album, only clocking in at maybe just a little over 2 minutes. But that's the thing that I love so much about this album, is that every song is so quick and goes by so quick, you're just like, wait, did that song just happen? But as the next song comes, you're just like, you know what? It's so awesome because it's that fast. It's just thrashy, in your face, and awesome. Next song is called Deer Dance. Correction, the song Needles is 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm wrong. So the song Deer Dance, first off, I think the title of the song has absolutely nothing to do with the actual song itself. I think it's just, maybe it's one of those songs where the title of it can be put into its own interpretation, but I don't really think so. The song itself, first off, I just want to say instrumentation on this song. I love the riff on this song and how like fast. It's not really all that fast. Well, it does get fast because, like the song "Prison Song," John. Fuck, I'm gonna forget his name throughout this review a lot. John Dolmian. I'm just gonna call him John. How about that? John, drummer for this band, is actually doing the same thing that he's doing on the song "Prison Song," where he's doing like the roll on the hi hat and then going into the snare and everything. And it's just a fast type song. Not as fast as "Prison Song," but it's still a fast song. And pretty much the song itself is about pretty much the way that we treat. It's like pretty much about police brutality or like the way that we handle protests and all that. It's pretty much saying like the main chorus of the song is pushing little children with their fully automatics. They love to push the weak around. And then another part in the song, like pretty much in the song, it says, "Beyond the Staples Center, you can see America." And it's pretty much saying right then and there, it's saying like if you look beyond like this amazing structure that we have, or this stadium that we have, you'll see what the America that really is and everything. And it's pretty much like the police brutality and everything. And it's like our First Amendment right is the right to free speech, and it's also the right to protest and everything. Yet every single time that we have a protest, we always have police coming in and beating the crap out of people just for protesting and everything. And that's pretty much what the song "Deer Dance" is about. And I think it's another great song. It's probably one of my all-time favorite songs by it's probably one of my all-time favorite songs by System of a Down. And yeah, so just I love this song. The next song on the album is called "Jet Pilot," and this is one of those songs where there's many interpretations, and I'll put my own interpretation into this. It's called "Jet Pilot." The many interpretations behind this song is pretty much one of them is that it's talking about like the advancements in transportation and stuff. Like it says, first off, the first lines of the song are wired with the eyes of a horse and a jet pilot when he smiled when he flew over the bay. So people are saying, oh, maybe it's about like, oh, we went from having the horse to the plane. My own personal opinion, I think this is either about Pearl Harbor or the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II. Because first off, the beginning of the song, it just gets right into it to this song. And this is one of the shortest songs on the entire album, clocking in at literally 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Trusty iPod to help me out here. But it just pretty much starts off. It's really fast. The beginning, wide were the eyes and the horse and a jet pilot when he smiled when he flew over the bay. The reason why I'm saying that is because, like the first line of the song, "Wide were the eyes of a horse and a jet pilot when he smiled when he flew over the bay." They're pretty much saying right there. I think the horse is the wired horse is like the pilot of the plane and everything, and he's driving it, he's flying it. And maybe it's the kamikaze pilots that were flying into Pearl Harbor and causing World War II against the Japanese, or maybe it's the Japanese looking up and seeing a jet fly over and then drop the atomic bomb and everything. Another line in the song says, "My horse is a shackled man. His remorse was that he couldn't survey the skies right before they went gray." Right there, I think, is what they're saying. Maybe when they say when the skies turn gray, they're talking about when the kamikaze pilots came in, the skies went gray that day because everything went depressing. Or maybe they're saying when the nuclear bomb was dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the ash from like the nuclear radiation and everything caused the skies to turn gray and everything. So I don't know, maybe my interpretation is just dead wrong, but I think I'm right. So that's the song "Jet Pilot." Fast, punchy song that's just hits you and goes away as soon as possible, but I still think it's I still think it's an incredible song. The next song on this album is called "X and or Multiply." And this song, "X or Multiply," is even shorter than the song "Jet Pilot" because it's exactly 2 minutes, or if you go by what my iPod said, 1 minute and 59 seconds. It's extremely fast, especially since the verses before the chorus and everything, it's pretty much just like it's like kind of fast in the beginning, but then like when the verse kicks in, it's a blast beat and like everything is going fast and the vocals are just going over, and then they get into like the chorus and everything. And this song actually has a few meanings. It's about immigration and pretty much discrimination, and it's also about genocide. What type of genocide, by the way, you might be asking? It's actually lyrical theme that they put into a lot of their songs. The Armenian genocide of 1915. The Armenian genocide of 1915 was in the Ottoman Empire, when the Ottoman Empire was at its highest and everything, and there was just it was their minority of people that lived in their country, but it was pretty much Armenians were living there, and they didn't want them there anymore. So they figured if they weren't going to leave, they were going to kill them, and pretty much they killed over 1 million Armenians because of it, and pretty much they're actually System of a Down are descendants from survivors of the Armenian genocide, so they look back at their heritage and knowing that, you know, their heritage and everything, their ancestors lived in the Ottoman Empire or Armenia at the time, and the Armenian genocide was going on and everything. And then maybe I don't really know the history behind System of a Down members, but maybe they moved over here to the U.S. and then they were born, because members of System of a Down are all from California, but they're from Armenian descent, so that's their main thing. And pretty much, it's evident. I think that's evident when it says, "Show your people how we died. Show your people how we died. We don't need to nullify," repeated like 7 times. But yeah, it's pretty much in the beginning saying, tell the people that arrive, we don't need to multiply. So it's pretty much saying all these people that are coming in, tell them that we don't need to multiply and we don't need more of them because we already have enough. And then the other part is them saying, show your people how we died. So it's pretty much saying about the Armenian genocide, like show your people how they killed all of us, or show your people how we all died from this, and we don't need to nullify this. We just need to look it over. What does nullify mean, by the way? But yeah, so I think the song X is a really good song. It has a great meaning behind it. It's just really, really freaking short. It says right here on this booklet of the album, it says only 1 minute and 58 seconds. But I think it is exactly the right length. The next song on the album is the most popular song by System of a Down ever, Chop Suey. So, contrary to popular belief, I do not believe that this song is about Christianity and the birth and death of Christ. I think it's the other meaning, which is about drug addiction. And it's pretty much saying, in the beginning it says, wake up, grab a brush and put a little makeup, hide the scars that fade away the shake up, hide away the scars that fade the, like, it's pretty much saying all that stuff in the beginning. It's pretty much saying, like, people, they have to cover up that they're on drugs and everything. And then when the chorus kicks in the song, what, I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide. Like, drug addiction is pretty much killing you, and you're pretty much committing suicide in a sense for it and everything. And yeah, other than that, it's a song about it's pretty much a song about genocide. Well, it's about drug addiction. And also the song title, Chop Suey, the original title for the song was Suicide, but radios did not want a song called Suicide being played on the radio, so they had to change the song title. And also, Chop Suey is kind of the song. It says Chop Suey, and then the word Suey is kind of an ode to the original title for the song, Suey, as in suicide. So yeah, it's a song about drug addiction and everything. I don't really need to explain anything more about the song Chop Suey. It has probably the best harmony of almost any song I've ever heard at the end, with Darren and Serge and Serge doing the harmony at the end and everything. Has one of the best guitar solos. It's probably the best alternative metal song ever made. It's an insanely fun song to play on drums, and it has so many tempo changes in it. It's just all around probably one of my favorite songs by System of a Down. It's not my exact favorite, but it is definitely it's probably tied for first place with another song, which we'll get to later. But yeah, so that was the song Chop Suey, and next song on the album is called Bounce. This is the shortest song on the album at 1 minute and 54 seconds. So, what's this song about? Well, there's really no other way of explaining the meaning behind the song without just being flat out honest and out there. It says bounce. It talks about a pogo stick. It talks about going on a date with a girl, and it talks about she has many friends. This song's about an orgy. Plain and simple, this song's about an orgy. The pogo stick is a dick, and it's talking about an orgy. That's it. but it's kind of an awesome song. And by that I mean it's an awesome song. This song kicks ass. Literally. So yeah, next song in the album is called Forest, and this song gets pretty fucking deep. So just as a precautionary thing, this is my own opinion on the meaning behind this song, but pretty much this is what I looked up about the song, and this is what my own interpretation about it. So the forest in question in this song, I think, is the Garden of Eden, which is off the book of Genesis in the Bible. It's the first book and everything. It's pretty much Adam and Eve, where they were in the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis. They ate the apple, got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Rest of the Bible happens. But pretty much the beginning of the song, it says, "Walk with me, my little child, in the forest of denial. Speak with me, my only mind. Walk with me until the time, and make the forest turn to wine. You take the legend for the fall. You saw the product. Why can't you see that you are my child?" And that part, I think this whole song, I think, is from the perspective of God. And I think it's the first part when it's saying that, I think it's talking to Jesus. And it's talking like the forest of denial, and it's saying that Jesus doesn't accept that and everything, and he's not accepting the fact that he's supposed to die for everyone, and he has to take this promise and everything to the end, and like he says, "Why can't you see that I'm you?" and everything, and it's saying that God was his own image in Jesus and everything. And then the second thing when it says, "Walk with me, my little friend," and everything, I think that part is talking about Moses, and it's talking about when he told Moses from the burning bush that he was supposed to, when he told Moses like the whole 10 Commandments thing, and taking him, like part of it says, turn the forest into sand, so they're pretty much talking about taking all the Israelites away from Egypt and putting them back into the Promised Land and or Israel. So that's the part of the song where I think that's what they're talking about in there. And then the rest of the song, I think, is him talking about like them after that, like, come into the forest. So they're pretty much saying the forest as in the Garden of Eden. They're saying come to heaven, and then they're pretty much saying all the stuff of like looking on the world and everything. And it says like let's see, last part of the song, it says no television in the air, no circumcision on the chair, you made the weapons for us all, just look at us now. So they're pretty much saying like all the times and everything, like there's no circumcision, I guess. No television in the air, like they're saying everything is televised and we invented all these weapons, just look at us now and everything. So maybe it's talking about like God gave up on us. Maybe that's what they're saying, what the end of the song is. This song is pretty fucking deep. And honestly, a person like me, who's agnostic, it's just an interesting little song to me, and I do think it's one of the best songs in the album. It's just an interesting little song to me. So yeah, that's the song Forest. Had to talk about that song for 3 minutes. The next song in the album is called A.T.W.A, or A.T.W.A, I guess. A.T.W.A, or A.T.W.A. By the way, if you don't know this, A.T.W.A, or A.T.W.A, I guess. Which one is it? I'm just gonna say A.T.W.A. A.T.W.A is actually a 4-letter, what is it? I'm just gonna say it's an initialism. I don't know, but it's a 4-letter thing, which is a thing that Charles Manson actually had. I know, and the song's actually about Charles Manson, but it's not against him. It's actually for him, because it even says in the thanks of this album, where it says Darren Malakian thanks God, Buddha, Allah, and Lucifer, because they're all so lovely. And then it says Charles Manson for his inspiration and honesty. Alright, Darren. But pretty much A.T.W.A was like the environmentalist movement that he tried to start, Charles Manson. And A.T.W.A stands for animals, trees, water, air. And so yeah, I guess they titled that just to let people know that the song's about Charles Manson. But in my own opinion, I think the song is talking about his slow slip into insanity. That's where I'm gonna take it, and that's what I'm not gonna say that maybe the song's not primarily about Charles Manson. Maybe it can be brought into its own interpretation, because System of a Down have said before on occasion that all their songs are supposed to be taken into their own interpretation, and none of them really have their own specific meaning behind the song. So I'm just gonna say that it's about a guy who's slowly slipping into insanity, and that's proof in the lyrics of the song, because the lyrics of the song say, where's the song at? They say, "Hey you, see me, pictures crazy, all the world I've seen before me passing by. I've got nothing to gain to lose." And then it says, you don't care about me anymore. You don't care about how I feel. I don't feel it anymore." Then later on, it says, hey you, where is it? It says, "Hey you, you're me, not so pretty," and everything. So it's pretty much saying, in the beginning, it's saying that the guy, "Hey you, picture is crazy." He's saying that, you picture me as crazy and everything, and maybe I am and everything. And it says, "You don't care about how I feel. I don't feel it anymore." So nobody cares about how he feels about him being crazy, and he doesn't feel it. He doesn't feel or care about it anymore, anyways. And then it says, "Hey you, you're me, not so pretty." Pretty much, he's saying, I'm crazy, but you're also crazy. Pretty much, it's about a guy who's slowly slipping into insanity and losing his mind, pretty much. And the whole thing about the Charles Manson thing, go ahead, Darren, be influenced by him. I don't like Charles Manson, no. So yeah, that's the song A.T.W.A. The next song in the album is called Science. This is a song that I was disagreeing with, by the way. The song Science, the reason why I disagree with it is because the song is about how science has failed. And it's pretty much saying, in the lyrics of the song, oh yeah, also, I forgot to say this, the song A.T.W.A., the way that the instrumentation sounds, it's actually the most somber sounding song on the entire album, which I think is also talking about, like, the guy who's, like, crazy and everything. It's like, it's like calming and everything, is like he's going crazy, but then like the chorus, it's like shouting and everything, like he's shouting at the person. The song Science, it's kind of a faster sounding song. It is a faster sounding song actually, and pretty much like the lyrics in the song says, "Making two possibilities a reality." Then it says, "Science fails to recognize the single most potent element of human existence, letting the reins." Pretty much they're saying is faith, like the most potent thing that brings people together is faith and not science. And then pretty much the chorus says, "Science has failed. Science has failed our Mother Earth and everything." They're pretty much saying about how science has failed before, so why would it be right now? Then it says the spirit flows throughout the world and everything. And then also this song kind of has like a little break in there, where it's pretty much just like the hi-hat, like the ride cymbal and the snare, and then it kind of has like a I guess an Armenian type sounding thing. It has like a Middle Eastern type vibe to it. Then it gets right back into it, and pretty much the song is talking about how creationism and faith is more right than science. And that's the thing I disagree with, because seeming how I'm an agnostic type person, I'm a person who actually believes that science is it can be more right than actual beliefs and all that stuff. So I'm not going to take away from that, because I actually love this song. The song Science. Actually, it's probably, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite songs off the album, but I love this song. So yeah, that's the song Science. The next song in the album is called Shimmy. So I've heard some people say that one of the meanings behind the song Shimmy is about child abuse and child molestation. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that's the meaning of the song, because that's extremely fucked up. Maybe it is. It's System of a Down, so I don't know. But like the first lines of the song say, "Education, fornication, in you are, go. Education, subjugation, now you're a go." It's pretty much, I think the song is talking about like the mind control that that they have in the world and all that stuff. And also it says, "Don't be late for school again, boy. Don't be late for school again, girl." And then the chorus of the song says, "I think me, I want life. I think me, I want a house and a wife. I want to shimmy, shimmy, shimmy to the break of dawn." Yeah. So that part I think is talking about, that part is obviously about sex, shimmy. But it's pretty much talking like everything is controlled and everything, and like you need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to believe all these things. When it says, "I want me, I want life, I want like to control my own thoughts and everything." And it's another song that is a faster type sounding song. And then when it gets into like the actual part where it says, "Education, fornication, in you are go," like the instruments go along with that, and then it just has like a little break in the guitar and everything. But yeah, it's another great song off this album, and scratch that. This is the shortest song off this entire album. This song is 1 minute and 50 seconds long. So yeah, the next song on the album is one of the most famous songs by System of a Down, and probably one of my favorite songs by System of a Down, the title track, Toxicity. So, in my own opinion, the lyrical themes on the song Toxicity, when it says disorder, I'm pretty sure part of it is talking about like attention deficit disorder or ADD, but I also think it's talking about like the way that times have changed and like the way that we're being controlled and all that stuff, especially in the first line of the song when it says conversion software version 7.0, looking through life through the eyes of an hourglass. And it says eating seeds is a pastime activity. I think they're referring back to when everything wasn't controlled and like everything was like I'm not gonna say boring, but everything was like everything was simpler, and like eating seeds was like a pastime activity and everything. And you know, and the reason why I bring up it's about like political leaders and all that and going against them. It says because pretty much the chorus of the song it says new. What do you own the world? How do you own disorder? Now somewhere in between the sacred silence, and sleep. It's pretty much talking about they're controlling everything and they think they control the world. Well, if that's the case, how do they own disorder? Like how do they own the world? How do they own disorder and all that stuff? So that's the lyrical themes of that song, and instrumentation obviously on this song is great. I think this is one of the best songs drum wise by System of a Down, and one of the best guitar wise and the best singing wise. There's really like the most popular songs by System of a Down. You don't really need to talk about them that much because a lot of people have already heard them about them already. So that's the song System of a Down, one of my favorite songs off the album, and the next song is called Psycho. And this is an anti-groupie song. It's a song against groupies, as it says, psycho, groupie, cocaine crazy. It's pretty much talking about drugs and groupies and stuff. And it's pretty much saying, you know, groupies, they get into concerts by doing drugs and also having sex with the members of the band. It also says on one part of the song, it says, so you want to go see the show, you don't have to be a hoe. So it's saying you can go see a show, you can go see a concert, but don't be a whore and everything. Way to go, System of a Down. You made a song against groupies and a song against drugs. Again, against drugs, but yeah. So obviously by that you can probably tell that System of a Down is against drugs and they don't use drugs and they don't like drugs. Maybe, I don't know. Darren Malakian is crazy as shit, so he might. Swear to God, that guy has schizophrenia, but he's an amazing guitar player. But yeah, the song song Psycho is pretty much about, you know, psychotic groupies that think they have to get into a concert by being insane and all that stuff. So yeah, that's that song. And then the last song on this album, my all-time favorite System of a Down song, Aerials. Aerials, clocking in at 6 minutes and 11 seconds. This song gets pretty fucking deep. It starts off with like the string instrumental beginning, and then it has the playing on the guitar, very low tuned guitar by the way. Then it finally gets into it, and this song is about enlightenment and everything, and it's talking about how most people in this world don't believe in themselves and just think that they're going to go through life and then die and then nothing will happen. But it's pretty much saying aerials in the sky. Aerials is pretty much talking about whatever you believe in when you die, and then that will happen and everything. And then the first line of the song, life is a waterfall, we're one in the river and one again after the fall. So it's saying when you go through life, don't think that this is going to be it. It's pretty much a song about like enlightenment and being one with the universe, I guess. And it's pretty much also about like people not acting like themselves, especially when they rise to fame and stuff. And that's pretty much what the music video says, when that one kid who's like weird looking in the music video, originally nobody likes him, but then he rises to fame, and then he doesn't really, it's not really true to who he really was. So pretty much the song is pretty much about being yourself. It's pretty much about like, if you want to be famous and all that stuff, or if you want to have enlightenment in life, just don't try to act like someone you're not. And that's pretty much what the song's about. Also has one of the best breakdowns of any alternative metal song. Also, I swear, like, God loves System of a Down, because have you ever seen when they played in Armenia for that Armenia genocide thing that they played the 2-hour concert for? When they got to the song Aerials, they actually switched back to like a camera that was behind the band, and in the background a thunderstorm was going on. When they got to the like that. The lightning was going along with the song. That is awesome. But yeah, there is something about the song Aerials, the meaning behind the song, the instrumentation behind the song, and then the way that that Serge and Darren, sorry, Serge and Darren like work off each other with the vocals and everything. It's just a phenomenal song, one of my favorite songs of all time. It'd probably be in my top 10 favorite songs of all time. And then after that song, there's a hidden track which is called Arto, and it's pretty much an old Armenian type sounding song, and it's actually the Armenian prayer song for the dead, and they added that in there. I'm just gonna guess because of remembrance for the people that were lost in the Armenian genocide of 1915, which went through 1915 to 1917. But yeah, so that's the last. It's a pretty good sounding song. I was really surprised. First time I heard it, I didn't know what the hell I was listening to, but it's a really good instrumental type sounding song. And it's instrumental in the way that, like, if you don't speak Armenian, you have no idea what the song is saying. But yeah, those are the tracks off this album. Let's get on to other stuff off this album. So I guess in my own personal opinion, System of a Down's Toxicity, when it comes to heavy metal albums, or heavy albums I guess from the 2000s and stuff, and like the early 2000s and all that, I pretty much will just say I will stand by this. I think this is probably, when it comes to the metal community, wow, metal albums, it's probably the best, if not one of the best metal albums of the 2000s era, like in the whole era of that. And keep in mind, I keep wanting to say Toxicity, it's not the name of the band. System of a Down released 2 other albums in that era, Mesmerize and Hypnotize, and by the way, these are the last 2 albums they released. It has been 11 years, System of a Down. Release a new album already. And you know what? I'm probably saying that, and it's probably going to be the Tool effect of everyone's wanting them to release a new album and everything, and then they release a single, and we're just like, well, that was so worth the wait. The same thing happened with Tool with the album 10,000 Days. They hadn't released an album in forever after Lateralis, and everyone was like, release a new album. Well, actually, it was before Lateralis came out. Everyone was like, release a new album, release a new album. Then Schism came out on the radio as a single, and everyone was like, that was worth the wait. But yeah, so System of a Down pretty much encapsulates everything. Like, after this album was released, I'm pretty sure that's what was the whole, what sparked everything in the 2000s of, like, heavy metal and stuff. And pretty much every band was pretty much being System of a Down and everything. And just track after track after track after track after track. All 14 tracks off this album are notable for being probably one of the best heavy metal songs of all time, or probably the best alternative metal songs of all time. Everyone says that Chop Suey is the best metal song of the 2000s, and I would probably agree. Aerials is my favorite song by System of a Down, but Chop Suey is definitely their best song. Actually, I'd probably say Aerials is their best song. But when you calculate everything System of a Down, Toxicity, or Chop Suey, or Aerials are the 3 songs that you should go to. And this is the best album they ever released. And this album, I'll tell you a little story, by the way. I told this in my top 10 favorite bands of all time list, but I'm going to tell the story again. So, back when I was a little kid, this was the album that actually introduced me to System of a Down. And here's the story behind it. So, my cousin and my brother were listening to music back in the day, and they liked bands like System of a Down and well, I can't find it right now, but I had the album Wonder What's Next by Chevelle. They listen to bands like that, like Chevelle. They listen to like Linkin Park and all that stuff. And the thing about it is that I really, really like the music. Like, I like the music and all that stuff. And System of a Down was the band that I first listened to in that genre. But here's the weird thing. You know, if you're an older sibling, you probably know this. If your younger sibling is listening to the music that you listen to, and you think the music that you listen to is cool, you think, oh, my little brother is listening to this music, or oh, my sibling is listening to this music. My little sibling is going to be just as cool as I am for listening to this music. And my brother didn't think that. My brother thought, oh no, he's listening to the same music as me. He's going to make it uncool. And that was the case with System of a Down, because I heard them playing. It was either the song Jet Pilot, Chop Suey, Prison Song, or Toxicity, or I forgot exactly what song it was, but I think it was Chop Suey. They were playing the song and everything, and it was also they were playing the song BYOB, and it was like 2005, I think. And I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. So I walked in, and I was just like, what are you guys listening to? And it's like System of a Down, and then he immediately told me, get out. I was like, oh shit, so I walked out. Then when I got home, I realized my brother actually owned the album on CD. This is the second time of me owning it, by the way. And he owned it and all that stuff, and so I snuck into his room. I know. I snuck into his room, and I took the album, and I literally listened to that album. He never knew I took it, by the way. I listened to that album literally until it stopped working. And the reason why I say that is because I was a little kid. I had no concept of putting an album, a disc back in its case. So if I took the album out, I just let it lay down on my floor. So it got so scratched up after many listens and many plays and stuff that it just didn't work anymore. And I love this album so much that I burnt it onto a blank CD, and the blank CD stopped working. So I have owned this album 3 different times, and it has been worth it all 3 times. Hopefully this one doesn't break. But this album is a bona fide masterpiece. Lyric-wise, it's amazing. Is it weird in some places? Yeah, but that's why we love System of a Down. Instrumentation is amazing. Darren Malakian is probably one of the best guitarists of the 2000s, of metal, and probably of all time. Shavo, how the motherfuck do you pronounce his last name? Okay. Shavo Dajian? Odajian? Sure. Shava Odajian is one of the best bassists when it comes to alternative metal, when you can actually hear him play. And John Dolmian is, again, one of the best drummers in alternative metal, and just Serj Tankian is one of the best alternative metal vocalists of all time. He has that weird kind of nasally kind of sound in his vocals, but it works so well. And Darren Malakian is another great one. It pretty much in their freshman effort, I guess as you want to call it, their self-titled album, just System of a Down, they pretty much encapsulated that they can be a band that can sound weird but can sound awesome at the same time. They took just a little bit of the weirdness and the experimentation out in this album, but I still think it works, and I still think it's amazing. And this album is better than their first album, and is better than Steal This Album, and is better than these 2 albums. And by the way, I consider Mesmerize and Hypnotize one album conjoined together, because that's the way it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be a double album, but yeah, System of a Down's Toxicity is a bona fide masterpiece and just amazing. So now that I've talked about how much I love this album, I'll get on to my favorite tracks off this album. So, I was in the middle of editing this video and I forgot to say this part, and I think it's pretty important, but every time that I do my top favorite songs off of any album, it's always the top half songs. So this album has 14 tracks. So that would be my top 7. So my 7 favorite songs off this album in absolutely no particular order are Prison Song, Deer Dance, Chop Suey, Forest, A.T.W.A, Toxicity, and Aerials. So those are my 7 favorite songs, or 7 songs I love off this album. Every other song on this album is amazing though, so you should definitely listen to this album. Other things about this, if you look at the front cover of this album, you will see it says System of a Down, and it pretty much looks like the Hollywood sign and everything. I guess they did that in the fact that they're from California, and they're pretty much also against like social norms and stuff. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Then it says right there Toxicity, and then on the side it has that sticker that I haven't taken off yet, which says like the reviews of the album, how good it is and everything. Back of the album, you will see the members of the band looking pretty much through a barn door or a barn window. Has the names of the tracks. This album is also by American Records, who also produce records the band Slayer. So Slayer and System of a Down are on the same record label. That's kind of awesome. If you open this up, you get to see the always American recording label thingy on their CDs, which is this. It says System of a Down, has the arrows pointing to both ways and everything. I don't know what that is. It looks like the number 2. I guess it's because of their second album. Then the booklet right here has the names of the tracks for every single album, has the thanks from the band, and then pretty much them in the studio recording the album and everything. So that's cool. So I guess I should probably get on to the rating of this album. This album gets a perfect 10 out of 10. This is another masterpiece album by a band that I absolutely love. 8th favorite band of all time, and it's my favorite album by them. This album is an absolute masterpiece. Every song on this album is absolutely incredible. And yeah, so that's System of a Down's Toxicity. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed me talking about this album and everything, give that like button a click. And in the comment section below, leave me album suggestions of albums that I should review, albums I should get, and albums I should listen to. Get and listen to are pretty much the same thing, but either way. So yeah, that's pretty much it. System of a Down's Toxicity, 10 out of 10, masterpiece. Go listen to it. That's pretty much it. 3, 2, 1, I'm done. Goodbye and subscribe.